Resource shortages are a key part of Searook history. Though they explored nearby worlds early on, they never developed energy-efficient systems. Approximately 100 years before Endor, in the prior regime, steps were made to try and be more energy efficient, but these steps were largely reversed after the coup once the new government's power base was solidified, as they opted to instead begin an aggressive campaign of expansion, not for the sake of exploration, but to seek out and claim additional resources and subjugate new slaves. This is something I may touch on again in a later video. But it was during these resource shortages that entekment was discovered and utilized on Poex slaves. Initially, entekment was viewed as distasteful, and later, human entekment was viewed as dishonorable, but once its energy efficiency was discovered, the practice was quickly embraced. This will soon be important to know. So far, I've shown off Wurif and Daki, but I haven't talked about Shree yet. Looking at the chart of known Suruvi ships, you may notice something. The Shree is bigger than the Lwek. Because of their religion, the Suruvi have always emphasized their homeworld. Even under their new expansionistic regime, laws forbade any Suru born off-world from entering the upper echelons of their government. So what would make them name their largest ship after a planet that isn't Lwek? Conceptually, Shree originally started as a map tentatively called Evil Skies, essentially a blocky brutalism factory floating high above polluted clouds. But as the concept evolved, I decided to change it to be above a murky, oily ocean. Once I decided to make it an Imperium map, I also traded the blocky brutalism for curved edges and added large blue cylinders. You may recognize these as Bacta tanks, but I chose them specifically because they represent Magsol canisters. Magsol is a blue solution vital to the Suruvi in their entekment process, the extraction of a soul's essence in order to be converted to energy. So this brings us to Shree's history. Shree was one of the very first colony worlds of the Suruvi, predating the current regime's rule by centuries. A vast, beautiful blue oceanic world, full of marine life, Shree was the life basket of the carnivorous Searook, with no shortage of sea mammals and fish for them to export back to the homeworld. However, what really brought Shree to prominence was the discovery of liquid canvasite, a compound produced by a local sea snail and a vital component of Magsol production, which in turn made the planet vital to the entire entekment process. Shree's population boomed as factories and production facilities sprang up all across the planet. A shortage of land couldn't halt the Imperium's progress, and raised platforms were constructed all across the planet. Shree's oceans did not adjust well to the rapid industrialization, and the sea soon turned from vibrant blues to red-brown murk, a symbolic shift for the superstitious Searook. Efforts were quickly made to try to reverse the damage they had caused to the planet, with campaigns both political and religious supporting the cleansing of Shree. But soon, it was discovered that although more than 3/4 of the planet's sea life had died, the sea snails necessary for entekment had adopted, and the campaigns were quietly discontinued. Now, Shree's ecosystem is well beyond repair, but the world has become the star of the Imperium's production, almost rivaling the homeworld herself, both technologically and economically. As you may have noticed, Shree is elevated high above an ocean. Yet unlike many older maps, flying units move on straight, continuous paths, rather than dipping awkwardly. This is something I was going to discuss, but think deserves its own video, as it covers a wider scope than just Shree. Right now, this map is used only for Shree, as there aren't many planets in Star Wars whose main focus is having a polluted ocean, and it's possible things may stay that way, but I think I'm okay with that. Thanks for watching.